Hey, Amy from the blog ablossomlife.com, and today I want to show you how to make the easiest sourdough starter. So when I first started getting into sourdough, I actually tried to make a sourdough starter a couple times, and I would either kill it or it just wouldn't really work out, and it would take a lot of flour. And the flour that I use, I usually get really good quality flour, get organic flour. I was using a ton of flour to make a sourdough starter within, it takes about, usually if you want to do it like the real way, it takes about a week to 10 days to make a real sourdough starter that you can bake bread with. This starter takes 2 days and you can bake bread. I just pulled this out of the oven. Look how beautiful this bread looks. It looks so yummy. I can't, like, literally just pull it out. I cannot wait to eat it. So what makes this sourdough starter different than other sourdough starters is that you are kind of helping it along. So instead of just catching the natural yeast in the air, which you are doing a little bit of, you're actually starting with an active dry yeast, and so you're kind of giving it a head start. So especially the more you bake with this, the more natural yeast it is going to develop too. So it's not just going to be this yeast. It does really make a sourdough starter. You continue to use it and develop its flavors and develop the natural yeast in the air. It will get better and it will get more flavorful, but it does make an amazing starter to start with. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add all this to the bowl. I have 1 cup of warm water, 1 package of active dry yeast, and then 1 cup of flour. And we're going to mix this up, and that's it. We will get it covered and then let it sit at room temperature. I usually like to leave it in a warm spot, like the oven, with the light on. Don't put heat on the oven, just with the light on, and let it sit for 24 hours. Then tomorrow, we're going to come back, and you want to take out a 1/2 cup of the sourdough starter, take it out and toss it away. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of flour and a 1/2 cup of warm water again, and then mix it up, and that's how you feed it. And cover it, put it back in the oven with the light on, come back in 24 hours and do that same exact process again. Take out half of the starter, throw it away, and then replace it with a 1/2 cup of flour and a 1/2 cup of water. This refeeds it, gives it something for the yeast and the good bacteria to eat on, because that's what they like flour and water. If you're planning to bake all the time, you can keep this on the counter and feed it every day, or if you are only planning on baking with it occasionally, keep it in the fridge and feed it once a week. You do want to make sure that you put this in a big bowl, or a bigger bowl. This is, if you can tell what size bowl this is. This is probably a medium size bowl. But you do want to put it in a bigger bowl because this will expand a lot, because the yeast, it's going to really grow. So trust me when I say this, because I learned from the hard way when it was overflowing into my oven. But put it in a big enough bowl that has lots of room to expand. When you do go to bake with it, you do want to make sure to feed it at least 3 to 4 hours, or the night before. Feed it, and how you do that is the exact same way process I was just talking about. You're going to take a 1/2 cup out of the starter, and then you're going to replace it with a 1/2 cup of flour and a 1/2 cup of warm water, and mix it up, and then cover it and let it sit in a warm spot for about 3 to 4 hours. When it gets really bubbly, that's how you know it's active. That's how you know you can start using it for baking. If you want to get one that is completely of the wild yeast that's in the air, you do have a couple options. You can hope that you have a friend that has a sourdough starter already, that is already a really well-fed, very prolific starter. Ask them. You can go to a sourdough bakery, which I have done in the past. I have gone to a sourdough bakery, asked them for their some of their starter, and they sold it to me for like $2. You can do that. Or you can do it the long way, you know, like 7 to 10 days, feeding it twice a day. Or you can do it this way and have something that you can bake with in 2 days. So this is hands down the easiest, fastest way, and my favorite way of doing it. So why I choose sourdough or make sourdough bread and sourdough products? So sourdough is actually like the natural leavener. It's what people used to use a long time ago before you could get little packets of yeast. And that is it's just a way to leaven bread, but also the fermentation process actually removes some of the phytic acid, which actually blocks absorption of nutrients. And so, which is one of the reasons why they add it back in. But so what this does is it actually breaks down that phytic acid, so the bread, the nutrients that are already in the flour are more readily available for our bodies to absorb and actually makes it more nutritious. Another benefit of sourdough is that it actually helps break down the gluten, and so people that have a gluten sensitivity a lot of times can tolerate sourdough. But if you have celiac disease, that's completely different. That means you cannot take gluten at all in any amounts, and so it doesn't matter if it's sourdough, it doesn't matter if it's einkorn flour, you can't tolerate it. For any tools, tips, what I use, and the recipe that I use for my sourdough bread, I'm going to link it below, and so you can definitely check that out. I'll also link below a whole post on how to make the sourdough starter, and it gives you lots more tips and tricks and exactly how to do it, how to feed it, how to use it. It gives you all of that information. Thanks so much for stopping by A Blossoming Life YouTube channel. I share one new recipe, DIY project, or natural product every week. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And try some sourdough starter. Such a delicious way to eat bread. Maybe ice cream.